so much for joining us. I have a very interesting conversation lined up just for you. The UN is having the COP27, which is the 27th United Nations Climate Change Conference, which will be running on the 6th to the 18th of November. This particular conference, like I said earlier, is put out to address specifically how we as human beings are, how well prepared we normally are for disaster management. With me, I have Mr. Dennis Kimani, who is the founder and Secretary General of the Youth Green Foundation. I also have Mr. Javan Namema here with us, who is also a founder and a CEO, who's also the founder and the CEO of the Green Alliance Africa organization. Basically, each individual is here to tell us the role they play in making the environment a better place. So, karibuni sana. How are you feeling this morning?
Green.
You're feeling green?
Yes.
Mr. Dennis, tell us about this green morning.
Thank you very much, Nina.
And who Mr. Dennis is.
Okay. I'm always happy to be in KUTV. Pleasure, and so much thanks. My name is Dennis Kimani. As you have heard, I'm the founder and CEO of Youth Green Society. Yes.
Mr. Javan, good morning.
Good morning.
Karibu sana.
Thank you so
Who
much.
is Mr. Javan Namema?
Mr. Javan is an environmental climate activist, and he's the founder of Green Alliance Africa. And also he serves in various environmental organizations, platforms, national platforms. Yes.
Wow. Mr. Dennis.
Yes.
I'm sure you know about the COP27 that is coming up soon.
Absolutely.
Tell us your understanding of this particular conference.
Thank you again. We are coming from COP26. It was in Glasgow. It is just to empower the Paris Agreement that is about to how to mitigate and make people have the adaptation for climate change. At COP26, all countries and all world leaders, they met, but they didn't come with a solution on African countries. Therefore, there was a need for a COP27 that will be addressing African challenges and financing. That's why we are heading to COP27 this November.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Mr. Javan, how can we increase awareness on environmental conservation?
Wow, that's a very good question and a hard question. One, I think we need to have more content creation on climate change, whereby we need to create a lot of awareness through social media, raising so many issues that are affecting our climate change. So we need to do a lot of social media content creation, whereby we can do documentaries, to empower communities and also talk about these things that are affecting the society. One of them being climate change, carbon dioxide reduction. We need to talk about water, forest covers, increasing forest covers. We need to, speak about issues of deforestation. So all these things can also, be raised through social media platforms. Number two, we can also have environmental rallies and marches, like the one which was started in Germany, Future for Fridays. Every Friday they just have a peaceful walk, peaceful strike. Yeah, every Friday. It's a group of young students who started that, and the whole world adopted. We did one here in Nairobi some times back, and it was very nice. It was just like a house of environmentalists meeting, and raising these issues. So we can also have a lot of community empowerment programs, talking about environmental conservation, how to plant trees. We can also put it in curriculum activities in schools, raising awareness through, tertiary institutions, primary institutions, secondary institutions, putting it on syllabus so that it can be part and parcel of a way of life. Yeah, as we are raising a new generation of environmentalists.
Mr. Dennis, you'd like to add anything?
Yeah, that is good. We have the Student Strike for Climate.
Yeah.
That's a good initiative because everyone is supposed to be involved. in the Paris Agreement, we were saying that it's nationally determined contribution. But now, as Youth Green Society, as we think is individual contribution, because like the simple things that we do, cutting a tree, drying a dam, these are things that will lead us to climate change. On that, I will also add on disaster management.
Yes.
Yesterday, we had about our leaders talking about how to mitigate the effects of climate. They're talking about dams. When shall they come up with these dams? You know that we are saying that Kerio Valley is good for cash crops, cassava and those, but we are not coming up with these dams. I want to tell you, Nina, that when we come up with a dam, we are mitigating floods and drought at the same time. Because you'll see, the time we are coming to collect this water, we'll be using the time of drought. So these people, they don't need to be dying because of anything. But you'll see that when you're coming to finance or on the adaptation fund for the climate change, we are coming to do things that are just killing or misery to our people. It's like when rains come, we wait for the people to die. That is the time we are coming with a lot of resources, solutions.
And how to solve things.
Yeah, that is wrong. We are supposed to come with what I call standing and operating procedures.
Yeah.
If it is a dam, put that dam now. If it is starting about plants that are adaptable to climate change, let us come with innovations now. If it is waste management, we are having something we are calling the black fly. We are saying, let us come and help our farmers to be able to keep this fly that is decomposing organics, because we all know that waste management will, one way or the other, emit CO2 and the green gases into the environment, and will be ending up with a lot of climate change. Again, I want to talk about forest things. Deforestation is something that is killing our planet in two ways. One, forests are the catchment areas for water. Again, forests act as carbon sinks. So when we are deforesting our planet, we are putting carbon into the atmosphere, increasing the heat, and that's why we are seeing water rising and all drought and floods. So I'm just asking everyone, it is an individual contribution, not even a national contribution anymore. It is it is what I do with the environment, not what we do. Yeah.
Speaking of what we should do, what do you think should be the main conversation comes? What are the main issues that you think should be discussed in the upcoming climate change conference with the UN?
COP27.
Yeah.
It is the indigenous families and communities in Africa. In the northern parts of Kenya, Ethiopia, South Africa, Somalia, and part of Tanzania. Those are the people who have been affected by climate change. Nina, this climate change is not things that us we do. Most of them is the developed countries that are coming because of industrialization. So the need for us to be empowered financially is the discussion of COP27. Because we talked about a lot of Western countries, we forgot that even Africa is ailing. So I think that COP27, let them give finance to the countries that have been affected more, and not the countries that are polluting the environment.
Oh yes. Mr. Javan, what do you think? What would you add in regards to some of the issues that should be addressed in the upcoming COP27?
As he has said, financing is a main issue, is a major issue when it comes to dealing with climate and environmental issues. Most of the upcoming developing countries, they don't have finance. So we have to talk about financing, because, we can't just be having these sessions after year after year after year. We pass legislations, we pass resolutions, and then
they are all theoretical.
Once people fly back to their countries, everything stops. So we have to talk about financing. How are we going to raise funds? How are these nations, the superpowers, going to help Africa raise funds? How are we going to raise funds within our own means in our own countries? We also expect them to talk about adaptations. It's a main issue. We need to talk about energy, green energy. We are involving into green energy. How are youth and women going to be involved in environmental conservation, in activism?
Yeah.
You know, those are the things we want to see them talk. How are the governments passing legislations? You know, because it's one thing to go there, give very nice speeches. Last year we saw our sister Evelyn Wathuti, a former student here. You know, she gave a very powerful speech, and she told them, like, you know, we've always been talking, you know, but we pass resolutions. Once we are out of this hall, everything stops. Again, we come next time, you know, we raise new issues, you know. You're not telling us about financing, how we're going to finance this kind of initiatives. Yeah.
Wow.
For me, I'm calling that ad hoc jackism. We write a lot.
Sorry, slowly, you're calling it what?
Ad hoc jackism. We write a lot, we talk a lot, but we do less.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Do you think the governments around the world are embracing sustainable methods to waste management, especially in urban areas? Since you said the developed countries are the ones that, you know, are polluting the world the most. So do you think the governments around the world are, you know, having proper waste management?
Thank you. I will start by congratulating our government. I think, you know, Kenya is the first in the green energy transition, so it's a very good thing. I will talk for Kenya because I'm not much versed with the other countries.
Yes.
Kenya, we have the geothermal. We have a lot of green and renewable energies that we are running. So I think some countries have come with policies. Last year, actually it was signed this year, the Sustainable Waste Management Bill that is going to take the waste management and collection from a linear to a circular. These are things that are approaches that have been done. So I think the government is doing a good thing, and kudos to them. But now again we go back to the personal. When you talk about circularity, it starts from where you are. It starts from home. So the government is not at your house. It is me and you and me in my house to start the circularity. This is all about how you sort waste, segregate waste, recycle that waste, or reuse it.
Yeah.
So it is up to everyone to be in this game and do the circularity.
It's everyone to do their homework.
Yeah.
Nice. Mr. Javan,
Yes.
what do you think? Is the government's doing what they're supposed to do?
I've been part of the team that has really been going through the country, you know, especially the counties, and trying to talk to different environmental departments on waste management issues. And I can tell you for free, this is not just, you know, something I've read, I've seen. I can say totally no. Yes, because there is non-uniformity when it comes to waste management issues. First of all, let me talk about Kenya. Kenya, we have a lot of cartels here in Nairobi. Waste management is a big problem. You know, the way you see CBD clean.
No, I tend to disagree. I went to the CBD, I
Yes.
think it was on Monday,
Yeah.
and I was shocked. Moi Avenue is upside down. It's there was garbage everywhere, and for a minute I asked myself, at some point when NMS got into cleaning and taking over Nairobi, CBD used to be so clean during the first couple of days, but then I'm wondering what is happening now. That is, honestly, I'm sure if people who've walked around that lane of Chicken Inn,
Yes.
King's Collection,
Yes.
that entire, it's so dirty.
Yeah, that's why I said
It is
non-uniformity.
so dirty.
The reason why I'm saying it non-uniformity and dishonesty, it's because they only do the garbage collection within the CBD. But when you
Now
come
they're
to
not even doing
downtown,
it in the CBD.
when you come to downtown, actually it's worse. It is worse. These leaders you're seeing here, who are talking about environmental conservation, they never go downtown. You know? So another thing, I think there is no legislation. Legislations haven't been put, you know, to control waste management. And that alone is a big issue. You know, you go to a country like Rwanda, my brother, yeah?
It is so
When
clean.
you're found throwing any piece of paper, any just kind of that, you are arrested. Even a gum, you're arrested. It's a legislation. And you know, it's another thing to do legislation, to bring legislation, another thing to follow up on the legislation. So I also tend to think that there is strife between the government and the private sector.
Yeah.
There is no what we call the PPP, public-private partnerships, because at the end of the day, you find private waste management companies are doing well than the government, and so the government feels threatened. So, instead of partnering, they fight the private sector. You understand? So the government wants, to take over, and then it doesn't have, but then you find they don't have enough, machinery to do solid waste management or e-waste, whatever.
Yeah.
You understand? So I think, to me, I can rate our country maybe at 50. Because we're trying. We have the legislation, but then the enforcement is a big problem.
Implementation is...
What I think is, you're saying the right thing, but you see, the legislation are there. That is ad hoc jachism. We have written, if you read I know you have read the Sustainable Waste Management.
Yes.
It is well written about the circularity, how even the CSR will be happening, how the net zero will be happening. But kwa ground, mambo ni different. Mambo ni different because you'll find the cartel. The cartel is that when you go to City Hall, you'll find that there are even some companies that cannot take their litter to Dandora. At the Way Bridge, they will be sent back. These are the kind, and tell me, they have been given the work to go and collect from a household. Where do you expect them to take that litter? They will come and dump it at anywhere so that they can go for the other litter. So what I'm saying is that waste is an opportunity. Please let the government come up with measures. Like now, I'm seeing countries like Portugal, they are turning their waste into energy. Why don't they turn Dandora into an energy farm?
I was actually just about to ask you, because when you go to Dandora, there's all those heaps and heaps and heaps of waste, and I've always been curious, like, is there anything that can be done to that waste? Because waste will always increase. We are constantly using things, we are constantly using material, we are creating waste every single time. So what is this that can be done to clear that place? Because kutaja eventually.
What you can do is stop transporting waste. You don't take waste from KUTV and dump it at the gate. So that is transportation.
So what am I, me who is here at KUTV and I have waste, what should I do with my waste material?
Segregate your waste, sort your waste, keep your waste clean. If it is organic, put it in one dustbin. If it is plastic, on a different. If it is water, on a different. That is totally well sorted waste. You'll never find paper that is wet. When you mix organics with paper, you're going to, even that paper will tear. Yes? So put your organics different, and then you use what you are calling the black soldier flies. Now, when you bring the black soldier flies...
There's people who are curious, what are black soldier flies?
Black soldier flies are just like they are calling them, they are black. But they are soldiers because they eat on the decomposition of organics. They speed up decomposition of compost manure to come up with useful manure that can be used for food security. It can be used in the farms. So these are the projects that the government should be coming in, or even our leaders. We are telling a lot of youth they don't have jobs. There are no jobs in Kenya yet.
These are opportunities they can create.
Exactly. So I think it is willingness to have solutions.
Wow, that is interesting. Javan, what are some of the ways you think we can tackle the issue of climate change around the world at the moment? Let's be honest, we are suffering. There's a different climate change every single time. Like what we saw in Europe. It was so hot, there was forests burning, it was crazy, it was chaotic. And the heat waves, and they've never been that high. It was the first time they were that high, and it is obvious it is because of climate change. So what are some of the issues we can use, to tackle this climate change?
I think now that one depends on individual countries. Each country, they have to come with their own resolutions.
Let's talk about us.
Let's talk about Kenya. Here as an organization, I have an organization.
Yes.
Somebody else has an organization. And at the end of the day, we are doing the same thing. You understand? So you might find that the projects that I want to do and the project that he wants to do, they're very, very important when it comes to environmental conservation. But the financing. So the government needs to increase the access and financing on environmental projects. I'm sure you're aware, we also have, youth groups, women groups that are also doing solid waste management, they're recycling waste. You understand? But because of that financial hitch, they can't do much. You understand?
Yeah.
Then in Kenya, I think we have enough legislation. If you want legislation, we have. If you go to Kenya Forestry Service, we have legislation. You understand? We have laws, different laws. But the enforcement. I want to cite an example. One day I went in a county government, one of the county governments in Rift Valley, and I was helping them, doing various waste management projects. And when I arrived there, I went to the county Namema department's office. And right outside Namema, there was a heap.
Outside Namema?
Heap. I'm telling you, heap.
Of trash.
Of trash. And I was like, director, you are the county director of Namema. This is so embarrassing.
Setting a very good example.
So because when I arrived, we went and had a small meeting with him. Then we went to meet the CEC of Environment. So when I went to the county government, I found more than 20 askaris, county askaris, just on the gate. So I was like, this is wrong. Why? Because, you have county, in fact, they also have their own county laws. You understand? There is the national and the county laws.
Yes.
You understand? Why would you have 20 security guards in a governor's office?
What are they
And the Ministry of Environment's department doesn't have even one askari. Seems misplaced priorities. So we need also to bring our priorities, lively. We need to know what are our priorities when it comes to environmental conservation. You understand?
Yes.
So enforcement is one of the key issues Kenya needs to embrace. You understand? And then I think we need to have now heavy penalties.
Like Rwanda.
Yeah.
We go the Rwanda
You're
way.
found in forest doing logging, 10 years. You understand? But now the problem is, the same legislators, the people who are passing the laws, are the same cartels
who are endorsing the cutting of trees.
Like my brother, do you remember when they were, we were migrating from paper bags to carrier bags?
Yes.
You understand? So that time, there was a very, very big tussle in parliament. Why? Because most of those parliamentarians are the ones doing this business.
From Uganda.
Yes, here in Nairobi County, just talk about waste management. I'm telling you for free. I'm sorry to say this on a national platform, but many people's lives are threatened, especially those ones who are doing solid waste management out of their hearts. The cartels don't want that. They want to eat money, and solid waste management has money. So we need to, have heavy penalties and enforcement in this country. By doing so, I feel like we'll move a step forward.
Mr. Dennis?
It's a lost opportunity, as you are hearing from him. But I want to say about, I think environment is a devolved function in the national, the county. The county has environmental money, the national has money, but this is the same money that is being stolen.
Yes.
Me, myself, I have gone to 2 counties trying to get where the environmental money is, nowhere to be found. This is the kind of the money that is being stolen. The same in the Ministry of Environment. You won't find this money because this is the money that is being stolen. Do you know why? Because the same way my brother is saying about cartelism, that is what is ailing our country. No one wants to go to waste management because lori yako haitaingia Dandora. Ikiingia Dandora itatoka imeharibiwa. Because how are you coming to Dandora? How? I have tried to go to Dandora even for researches. You won't come out of that place. That's why you're finding a lot of litter in our streets. Because mtu alipeleka, you reach at the way bridge, you cannot go in, you just litter anywhere because you have to go back and collect.
Because where exactly are you supposed to take that trash?
Yeah, you see. So I think the same way my brother is saying, hefty penalties for these things, hefty penalties for not even sorting waste, because now it's a law. We are going to circularity. If you're in your house, you don't sort waste. That waste company should not collect your waste. Like us in our in our startup, we are saying that we'll be having different days for collection. Monday we'll be collecting organics. I find that
Oh, that's such an interesting idea.
yes. Mondays we come for organics. Tuesday we come for plastics. We find your waste is mixed up. You pay more for mixing that waste because we are going to employ someone to sort that waste.
Yeah.
But don't you think it's a little bit tricky in an estate kind of setup whereby kila mtu anaekanga trash yake at one particular place, so utajuaje ni house number C ama house number D ya wakuweka plastics kwa nini waliweka plastics Monday badala ya Tuesday?
We are using a borrowed system from California.
Okay.
What they do is that it is house by house. It is not that you put at the curbside. The way we do it here in Kenya. Everyone will take that waste at a common place. They will come and transport it. Not that way. We deal with a household. You, Nina, and your house. How are you putting your waste?
Also, you start by house by house by house.
Exactly. Even if you are 50 in a flat, we'll come house by house. Put your waste at the door.
Wouldn't that take a little bit more time? I'm curious.
It's better to take a lot of time, but the way, you see, there's no need of us wasting time sorting or segregating trash. You know, what we have Kenya is not waste.
It's
It is
trash.
trash.
True.
So what time will you take segregating trash than collecting useful waste? Yes.
So, and then after you've already collected the plastics and the organic, what do you do next?
We have a pyros. We are working with a Portuguese. He told me to say hi to him. His name is Samuel Baril. We are working with him on pyrolysis. That we are going to be making plastic pellets that we can sell even as.
Oh, as to create thread.
Yes.
Okay.
Threads.
Yes.
So
yes.
this one will be coming with, instead of making new bottles, we are removing the bottles from the universe. So we are coming with that pyrolysis where we make new plastic. Like now in our company, because we need like 3 segregated dustbins, we need a lot of resources. So this plastic that we are collecting, we melt them and make them into new things like a dustbin that we are giving to our customers.
Okay.
So we are killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Yeah.
Interesting. And we can say that you are trying to create employment and also create space for it, because that's a very interesting. As we wind up, Mr. Javan, what word of advice would you give to the people out there in regards to environment conservation?
Environment should be a way of life.
It is a way of life.
It is.
Yeah.
But sadly, most people don't take it as a way of life. Why am I saying so? Why would you eat banana and just throw trash on the road?
Let me answer you like a layman. I will eat my banana and say, si ni ndizi, si nikitupa su it's organic. It decompose.
Yeah.
Not on the road.
Why
Like
it
in town?
decomposed?
In town. That is not
Itawaza
ignorance.
ishe.
Okay, it's right, but that is it. You know, it's a good thing to think so.
I'm
At least
representing so many people.
At least you know it will decompose, but it's in a wrong place. That's a wrong place. So I think my advice to people, you know, is to take environmental conservation issues seriously, because you know nature has a way that it can fight back. You understand? Most of the diseases and the things that we are going through, it's because of our carelessness. So we need to really be careful on how we dispose wastes. Number 2, you know, we need to create a lot of social media awareness on environmental conservation. And then to the government of Kenya, you know, my advice to them is to tell them to be serious with implementation and enforcement. You understand?
Yes.
And then maybe this is my personal view, I will advise, if I get a chance again, I will advise county governments, if the county can't do it, you know, the waste management themselves, then they should pass legislations within their counties.
Allow people who can do it to actually
privatization of waste management. Yeah.
Thank you, Javan.
Okay.
Mr. Dennis?
You can come up with the question again.
We are winding up, so your remarks and a word of advice you can give to people on how we can do better in terms of conserving the environment.
I have 3. The first is ignorance. That is me, like we are saying, throwing the banana anyhowly. The next is negligence. This is on the legislations, the government, and the companies, because even them are negligent on how they transport and do that.
Factories.
The next is the net zero. All the companies are saying they are going to the net zero by 2030.
For all of us who do not know what net zero is, what is net zero?
Net zero is that we want to have the carbon the deficit to be equal to what we can get. So therefore, even you're a polluter now.
Yeah.
Because you came here with a car. You have a car.
Yes.
So you're still polluting. Even if you don't waste, you don't cut trees, you're still like a polluter. So I would just require that this legislation, let us fasten them and have the godliness. Again, my last appeal is that as we come up with our leaders, the only resource that our youth or for the future generation that we have, it is not the money, it is not the cars, it is not the government, it is the environment, nothing else. That is the only resource that we can have. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, one more thing.
Yes, please.
One more thing. And I think as I wind up, I would love to ask Kenyans, we are going into elections. I have read, me partly, also part of, I'm also into politics, but then I stick to my lane. Also, I have to be where my interests are served, and that is environmental. So Kenyans need to really go through these manifestos of our presidential candidates, and elect a good leader, and elect environmental conscious leaders. You understand? People who are going to help us, pass laws that are environmental friendly. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Where can we get you on social media?
Twitter, Youth Green Society. Facebook, Youth Green Society. Actually, everywhere is Youth Green Society. But we have a website, www.youthgreensociety. This website is where we buy, sell, and acquire customers for our waste management company.
Wow.
Yes.
Mr. Namema, social media?
Facebook, Green Alliance Africa. Instagram, Green Alliance Africa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm really grateful. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing with us your knowledge. As you have heard, we've been given advice. Take care of your environment. As we cohabit, throw your waste the right and correct way. And as Javan has said, choose your leader wisely and let's understand their manifesto. And let's choose someone who is environmental sensitive. And that is why, as we come back after this short break, we will be listening to Honorable Ruto's manifesto and what he had to say on yesterday's presidential debate. So stay tuned. We will be coming back after this short break.